So tell me if this is you. Have you ever gone into a store, saw something that you absolutely had to have and can picture in your house at this very moment? You think you need that in your house and you need it now. And then you take a look at the price tag and think, yeah, right, I cannot spend this money on this. If you're like me, I really love high-end looks, but I don't like the high-end prices. So what I like to do is find ways to do it myself, and I can do it a lot cheaper. I'd like to show you a project I did. Use some fast drying spackle. Try saying that 5 times fast. As well as some glass jars and vases that I found from thrift stores, garage sales. Made it look like an aged vessel that I would probably spend anywhere from $200 to $300. Not kidding, I can't believe for something this small, you would spend $300 on. I can't believe it. And I did it myself for very cheap. So let's check it out.
Okay, so for this first project, I'm using a thrift store find, and I first spray painted it black. Make sure that paint is matte. It really goes with the vintage look. I actually went through 2 coats to make sure I completely covered it. Then I used some fast drying spackle and some brown paint. And this was really to make it look like mud. Have you ever seen those projects where they actually use real mud? I didn't want to do that. It is winter. I don't have access to mud unless I pay for it. And so I went with this look, and I am not joking. I was actually squealing as I was putting this on. It looked so cool, and you can really choose which direction you're going to wipe it on. I decided to go more of this horizontal, but you can go vertical. You can make it messy, do whatever you want. And then you can just go ahead and start wiping off parts that you don't want. And this is really now to your taste. Do you want to take a lot off or a little? And the whole point of this is to look like that 18th century piece that has been around for that many years and has that natural wear and tear on it. And yet it actually came from the thrift store, probably from the 80s or 90s. So once you have it to your liking, just go ahead and spray on a sealer that is matte. And I really emphasize matte so that you don't have that shiny look like it did originally. So there is the original piece, and here it is now that it has been made over. I really love how this lends itself to my kitchen and the decor that I'm going for in that particular area. So the next item I worked on were these 2 bottles. One is a wine bottle and one I found at a garage sale and previously painted. So I used some more of that spackle, that fast drying spackle, and I just started wiping it all over. Don't forget the insides too, and wiping it all over the outside of the bottle. And I was trying to mimic as if someone was doing this themselves without any tools, just with clay or mud. And the whole keyword is, how do I make this look really old and handmade? And so you'll see this little technique that I was doing, and I know it looks silly, but it was really helpful. And I just finished it off to make it go in the direction that I wanted it to look. And again, you can make it vertical, horizontal, whatever you would like. So I just did the same thing to the other bottle, and it worked out really nicely. You don't have to have all of the color or glass covered. It's just really to add texture. And I did have to show you, use gloves that actually fit. It's really helpful. And so just finish off until you are satisfied. Once that was dry, I did just wipe off anything that was going to fall off anyways, and then I started with a paintbrush and black paint. I did find I had to start stippling because there was so much texture. Yay, there was a lot of texture. So I would suggest you do the same. So once that is all done, I let it dry, and then I started using colors like brown and beige and off-white. And using a wet paper towel, just start with one color. I went with a light natural color like this beige and just started dabbing it. And really, this is like a no mess up. I know it doesn't look particularly nice right now, but the choppier it is, the better. Like, it really does look more natural. And you don't have to fill out the whole area with one color first. So it's actually encouraged, use the colors sporadically, and you're just adding layers. And that is the big thing. Trust the process. It doesn't look nice as you're going, but you want to start layering it on so that it looks like it has been years of wear onto that piece. So once you have finished with adding those different areas, I started going in with more of like a highlight color, and I used an off-white and started putting that layer on next. And I do actually want to share that I let some of the layers dry in between, especially for the white. I didn't want it starting to mix with the brown and just make it look brown. So I started adding the white after the rest of it had some time to dry. And then again, I'm going in with a dark color again because it's all about layers. The more layers you can add on it, the more detail and visually appealing I think in my opinion that it looks. And so you can go with the more muted look or not, and step back, take a look, and just start adding pieces. So I'm not gonna lie, I sat on this for like 2 days and then decided, no, I want light. And I think I repainted this like 4 times. So I'm just showing you this one time. I went with a really light color and then started adding grays, some blacks, and then started adding some white for highlight. And I really did this because I wanted some differentiation between the two. And if you'll notice, I switched to the brush and did a stippling effect, and I found that added the paint really nicely. So whether you use a wet paper cloth or not, it will work. And then spray it to make sure it is sealed with that matte color. And there's the before and here's the after. I am so excited with the after. I really love the texture. I think it looks like this stone, something that was handmade. I use some leaves in it, but you can use flowers. You can leave it by itself. It can be really in any part of the house that you would like. And this last DIY aged vessel that I want to show you is this piece I got from a thrift store. I already previously DIY'd it and it's just not to my taste right now, so we're going to improvise. So I used some dry air dry clay, and I just started placing it along the edge because I didn't want that wavy look. That's not going to look like it is from many centuries ago. So I just started putting it on there and just molding it into how I liked the look. And I went with a really rough look, and you can go as smooth or as raw as you would like. And then I just made 2 matching pieces, and I actually used this to add a little bit more to the taller vessel, add a little bit of difference to it, and I thought it would look really nice. And so I added some handles and I attached that with the clay, and then I let it completely dry. So after the clay was dry, I used a really light off-white color, and I added baking soda, and I did that because I heard that it really adds some texture, and so I wanted to try it out. So I started putting it on, and it really acted like chalk paint, and so it was great to use as a base, but I wanted more texture. So again, I went back with that spackle, and I started spackling it or stippling it right onto the piece. And this helped to blend the air dry clay as well as the glass. It added texture, and it really started to look like stone or that rough kind of what I was going for. So again, I used a wet paper towel. I started with black and brown and just started a little bit at a time going around and adding the color. And just like the other pieces, I am not trying to do it all at once. I'm going back and forth between colors and spreading it all out so that it looks really natural. I found with the texture, although I love the texture, it was really hard to get the paint right in. So I started using a paintbrush, and that helped. If I were to do this again, I probably would do a whole base coat first and then start. And so I started going dark, and then I went back to the paper towel because I like how that looked. It was a little blotchier, and I really wanted that. And then you're just adding layers by the colors. And so remember, the light is going to make things stand out. The dark is going to make it be a little bit more back. And so I'm just starting to create dimension. And as I'm putting the different colors, that's where the texture is really going to stand out. So I needed to show you this. Well, whoops, I ended up breaking the handle off. And so I just wanted to show you, I just used spackle, the one that I had that was already mixed as a brown, and I just let that dry. Once it dried, I was able to just paint right over it. So I just wanted to show you, I started using more of a highlight color, and I did allow the paint to dry in between, and that was just so that the color really stood out by itself. So I started adding the white, and again, for me, the messier it looked, the better and more authentic it looked. So I just wanted to show you that I wanted it to look more like stone. So I really started to add some gray and white to be that last bit. And I will encourage you, always look back, take a look, and add more. Once you're satisfied, spray it so you're sealing it. And there is the before, and here is the after. I am so excited about the after. To me, it looks like stone. It looks like it is a piece that I don't know how much I would have spent on it. And I can tell you it was literally dollars that I spent to buy these glasses from a thrift store.
So what did you think? If you'd like to see more videos like this, please consider liking and subscribing. It always helps to grow my channel. Until next time, I hope this has helped you to stay inspired.